Most coaches take sales calls and then hope that they get better over time and they start to close more sales. But what if each sales call that we do could actually train us to be better for the next one? Or what if it could actually show us this is what you did well, this is what you didn't do well, and next time that you're on a sales call, maybe you should try doing X, Y, and Z to possibly get the sale. Well, that's exactly what we built. And we built this AI system that you can implement into your coaching business straight away, step by step. Just follow exactly what I do, and you'll be able to set up. You don't need any like knowledge about coding or anything like that. We're using three very easy tools to use that you should have inside your business if you don't have already. But yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to show you. I'll be sharing my screen and I'll be explaining why I'm doing things as I'm doing things. Not sure how long this video is going to be, but it will be showing you everything. So let's get started. So as we're doing this, there's three softwares that you need to have. They are all paid softwares, but even if you don't just use it for this, you will be using them for so much more stuff. And I have a bunch of other resources that will show you how to set up stuff like smart check-in systems, automating your onboarding, setting up automated referral systems, loads of things. And we very often end up using these three softwares over and over. So the first one is going to be Airtable. So Airtable is essentially like our home base that we will be using for a lot of automations and systems that we set up. In this case, we're using it to have this lead management board set up. I have a very basic lead management board set up here where we just have the person's details, the first name, last name, email address, Instagram profile, the conversational notes, the source where they came from, and the different stage that they're at in the pipeline. So, like, are they a possible prospect? Have they booked a call? Have they been sent a call link? Where exactly are they? And we've just set up a very basic lead magnet kind of tracking system inside there as well. But all we're really trying to do on this is just track like, right, these are all the people who are prospects, these are their details. This could be a spreadsheet as well. It would be very similar inside a spreadsheet, but for this particular automation, we're going to be using it inside Airtable. If you're not using it, I think is the best system that you should be using for your coaching business, where we actually build out way cooler stuff like client management systems, check-in systems, loads and loads of stuff. But as a first software we're using, it's like 20 quid a month. Get it, download it. It's amazing. You definitely won't regret it. The next one that we're going to be using then is Zapier. So Zapier is an automation tool that essentially allows you to connect from one app to another and then get them to interact with each other. That's the easiest way to kind of describe it. And we're using this to be like a middleman in all the other actions that happen throughout the automations. And then the last software that we're using is called Fathom. So Fathom is an AI call note taker. And what it does is it actually joins your calls with you when anytime that you're having any sort of a call, and it basically acts as a note taker. So you don't have to be sitting there trying to take notes while you're on the call with the clients. You can just be sitting there listening and actually engaging with them instead of trying to take notes. And then after that, you can do some really cool stuff like creating the AI summary, creating the AI transcription, and then you can actually talk to it as well to be like, hey, when did we mention this on the call or this on the call? And we'll actually feed that information back to you. But that's the three softwares we're going to be using. To set this up, we just need to build three little automations, and I will give you everything that you need for it. And you can just be pausing this video, copying it. If there's any like resources or anything that will be needed, I have a list of all kind of documentation I'll be using here on the right hand side. If there's anything that you would find useful, I can send that over to you as well. But yeah, hopefully this helps, and yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to make sure that we have a little kind of lead management board set up inside Airtable. We can do this really easily just to create something simple like this, where we create a new table. You go in there, you click the plus icon, you say start from scratch, and then you basically just add in new fields. The new fields then, to do that, you click the plus icon, you decide what type of a field it's going to be, whether it's a single line, a long text, whether it's a checkbox, or whether it's a link, and you just give them the names. These are the ones that we currently have set up. I'll just open up one of these for you. So we can see that we currently have first name, last name, email address, Instagram profile, conversational notes. You might want that. The source, so where did they come from? So that's a single select one. And we have a lot of different options for the stage. Where did they come from? to single select as well. And we have a load of different options of where they could be inside the pipeline. The only one that's really going to be relevant for us today is the one that says not closed. And then we have another part here where we have like resources given. So if you want to track what lead magnets were given to what lead and stuff, you can track that. We then have some other fields like the next contact date. So when you're reaching out to them again, this is technically in the past right now when I'm recording the video. The call date. So if they book a call, when are they actually booked in? Any pre-call notes. If they become a client, we can go link it to a client profile and a client management board as well if we want. But the important ones is this. We have the call AI summary, we have the transcript, and then we have the actual feedback then from the AI will be going in here as well. And then we have the call AI transcript continued, 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 just in case it's a very long call. I once had a 4 hour long sales call and I needed to put it in here, and the transcript was so large that it would not fit into Airtable. So we set it up now where if it's over an hour, it would split it into 4 separate parts and then put it in there. And then we just need one little checkbox at the end, which would be like, hey, when this is ticked, you are going to say train me, and then that's going to continue. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to make sure that you have this set up. If you don't have it set up yet, pause it, get this set up, and now we're going to go build out the little automation that says, hey, once all the information is here, and we tick this box to say train me for it to go send all the information to AI, and we'll go build automations to go populate these areas. So if you haven't got it done, go set this up and then continue in the video. Now, next part, we are going to go set up the first bit of automation inside here now. And what we're doing is creating the AI sales summary and getting that into the Airtable base. So we will first give this a name. Always name them if you can. So AI summary. Into Airtable. Okay. Now, the way that all automations work is they have to be triggered by something. There has to be something to say, hey, now you're going to start, and then we have the actions that go after that. So our trigger is going to be Fathom. So we're going to click on Fathom. If you haven't got connected, it will just say sign in, and then it'll prompt you to connect it. It walks you through it. It's really, really quick. And what I might actually do is just zoom in a little bit here to make it a little bit easier for you viewing on the screen. Okay, now we're going to click the trigger event. So the trigger event for this one is that we need a new AI call summary is going to be the trigger. We'll click continue. It'll ask us my meetings or team meetings. Majority of you, you're just going to click my meetings. And then from there, you're just going to do a quick test. So what this is going to do is it's going to pull back some past ones, so some past AI call summaries. If you don't have any, it will give you like a generic one, but ideally if we have one, that would be good. Then we can click on it and then we can see the details of the AI call summary. Now, what we're going to do is you can put in a filter if you wanted this to only continue for a different situation. So one of them might be you might do sales calls, you might do client calls, and then you also might do like live training calls with your coaching clients. And you might want some of them to be going to different places. So for sales calls, we want it to go onto our lead management board and track the calls. For our check-in calls with our clients, we might want that to attach to a client profile in a client management board. And then for something like a client live call or a live training, we might want the transcript and the recording of that to go into like a members area that you have for your clients. And that's how we would use the filters. So we would say we're going to set up a filter here so that it's only going to continue if it matches something like a sales call, so like a discovery call. So you would say if the meeting title, and then you might say contains discovery call. So right now, this meeting title doesn't contain discovery call. So if I click continue, it's going to pop up to be like, hey, this would not have continued. But if I go and edit this test one and click edit here, I'm just going to go change the meeting title on this to say discovery call. Hopefully that was the way I spelled it in the in the filter. We will go find out. Oops, if I retest that filter, continue, retest filter, hopefully it should be green. There we go, green. So it'll say that it will continue. So that's how the filters work. You might need to use one, you might not. It's completely up to you. For right now, I'm just going to remove it because we don't need one for this example. Now, after we get the AI summary, the first thing we want to do is get them into Airtable. Now, if you have been tracking your leads inside Airtable effectively, we should have that person's full name, or we should have that person's email address ideally. So what we're going to do is we are going to go search for that person. So we'll go find record in Airtable. We will select your Airtable account. So if you haven't signed in, it will just prompt you to sign in and connect. And then from here, we need to select what base it's in. So the base is just that overall area. So this here, whatever it says up there on the top left, that is your base, this entire place, with all these different tables in between. So we're going to select the base, and then you'll ask us to select the table. So for us, we're looking for lead management board. That is the table that we're on. So we will go lead management board. Oops, there we go. And then it's asking, how would you like to search for this record? So if we have all these records here, we have to pick a way to search for them, which would be like a unique identifier. And the easiest way is going to be their email address or their full name after that. Now, we have loads of Bruce banners and we have loads of Bruce banners over here. So I actually put my own email address in as one of them. So we're going to search for it using this email address here. So what we'll say is we are going to use the email address as the search one, and then it's going to ask you for the value. So I'm just going to go back and edit this first one here, and I will go get my email address put inside there. And then we will use that then to be searching. So let me edit this. I'll add my email address in there. All right, perfect. Right, and we are back here. So now where it says search value, this is where you're going to reference step one to be able to find that email address. Now you can't just type in an email address because it's going to be dynamic. It's going to be changing every single time that this happens, and it's going to be the email address of the participant in the call. So we will do a forward slash, and then we will see this is all the details that we can pull from step number one from the summary. What we're looking for is the meeting invitees email. So we'll click on that and we can see aaronthomasO'Malley@gmail.com is populating here. That's cool. We're searching for an exact match. And then if you want, you can limit it to different views. There's probably no need. And then you just click continue. Now, what it's going to do is we are going to do a test step. So if I click test, we are looking for it to say basically that it found somebody. So we can see here, we found the ID of the one. We found the person's name. They came from Facebook, from the conversational notes. This is what we had about them, and most importantly, this is the email that we found. We're like, cool, that is the person, and they are in the stage not closed. So they were a sales call that didn't close. Perfect example for this. Now, what do we do next? So the next step is Airtable again, because our goal of this is to go get AI summary and populate it into Airtable. So we are going to say update. So we're going to update a record. Click continue. Again, it's going to ask us for the base. It's going to ask us for the table. And then here where it says record, it will be asking us to select one of the ones that are there. Now, this is just showing a lot of record numbers. And if we select one, it will always do that one. We need this to be dynamic. So we need it to be the one that we found here. How we do that is over the tree, over the side here with the three little dots, click on it, click custom. And then from there, it's bringing up this menu again where we can see the information from step one, but we also have information from step two now. And then instead of clicking their name or their email or anything like that, we want to click on their ID number so that it's always pulling back exactly to that record. And the record is basically just a sheet, like the line on a spreadsheet, the row. So we're going to say to update that, and then it's going to ask us, great, what would you like to update? So we're going to scroll down, and what we're looking for is we are looking for the fields that you should have created by now inside here called the call AI summary. Now, if you need to, click edit on it, and we want this to be enabled. So enable rich text, just so that if there's any links or anything and we want to click on it, we can actually go back to that then in the future rather than trying to paste it in and it not really working. So we'll go back here. We see AI summary, and then we can either do the plus on the right hand side, or we can do a forward slash. And what we're looking for now is we're looking for the AI summary in Markdown formatted. So we see here AI summary Markdown formatted. So all this means is the way that it's formatted. So we have plain text where it's just normal text. We have HTML somewhere as well. where it's going to be essentially down as like lines of code, or we have Markdown, which is going to be the native way that is used inside Trello, and it's the same way that is used inside Airtable as well. So if we click this here, it will basically be putting some parts as bold, some parts as hyperlinks and stuff like that. And then what we're looking for is, let me just delete these here so that we can see that automatically populate once it does. So it's going to say we're going to update that record, continue, and then it's going to ask us, would we like to do a test? So yes, we need to do a test. And then if I go to home base here, we can see that it just populated there in front of us. So we have that there. And then if we click on these are all hyperlinks. They can actually go to that part of the call from Fathom, which is amazing. And then it basically shows us what's going on with the call. Now, the next part is we need to get the call AI transcript before we can go actually get the AI to give us feedback on that. So we have step one complete. We are just going to go press publish here and let that save. That one is all good. We're going to go back to our folder again now, and we are going to go create a new Zap. Okay, new Zap. All right, so this one now is going to be AI transcript to Airtable. Okay, so we're starting with the same place, as last time. We have a trigger. So it's going to be Fathom is going to be the trigger, but this time instead of it being a new AI summary, we are going to scroll down and we have new transcript. So we're going to click on that. We'll click continue, trigger on my meetings, continue, and then it should probably find the same one from my client call with Wallace there yesterday. And we can see transcript, same one. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to edit this slightly now, just to pop in some of my details in place of his, and then we will be able to use this for our AI summary then as well. 2 seconds. Okay, so we have the modified one now. I put my email address in there as well, so it will find it. And then we just repeat the exact same steps as last time. So the first one is Airtable, so where we're going to try to find that person. So we're going to say find record, select, continue. It's going to ask us what base. So it's the same base. It's going to be the same table. The search field is going to be the same as beforehand. So it's email, and the search value is going to be the same as beforehand. So it's email of the invitee. Continue, and we are going to test the step again. So it should be coming up with same person that was found. Amazing. Now we're going to do Airtable again. So just type in Airtable. And then this time we are going to say update, and we're going to do update record. Now, this, if all your sales calls are going to be less than 60 minutes, you can just go this way. If there's a chance that they could be longer than 60 minutes, we have to go break them up into separate sections, into 4 sections, and then go populate them into those 4 sections. So I'll show you both of the ways now. If it's always under 60 minutes, you don't need to bother with the more complicated way. You can just continue on right now like this. So you would go here, you would go home, the table would be lead management board, and then record, we need this to be dynamic. So it's the ID from step number 2. Perfect. And now what we're trying to populate is just the transcript of the call. So you see call AI transcript, so /, 1/ will do. And then we need it again to be in, well, you could put in Markdown or you could put it in plain, but all we need is the transcript. So we'll see here, transcript plain text, that will do. Perfect. And then continue. And as always, we are going to do a little test step. Before I click, I'll just show you here. What we're looking for is for it to populate here next to it. So if I click test and go back to that, we should be able to see it populate. There we go. So we now have the summary of the call. We now have the transcript of the call. And all we have left is to be able to grab both of these and the outcome of the call and send it over to some AI and get it to go create this kind of recommendations for us based off that. Before we do that, I'm just going to show you what we would have to do if your sales calls were like generally longer sales calls where the transcript wasn't going to be fitting inside there and you needed to split it up into different ways. So I'll just grab that other Zap. So it's very similar to that, but there's just an extra part that we have to put in where we put in a little bit of JavaScript, and that JavaScript will then handle whether it's going to be over 60 minutes or under 60 minutes. And then it will basically break it up into four separate sections. So this is the way that it would look instead. So we have the same steps where we have the new transcript, we then find the person, and then we have this path step. So the path steps are basically to say, hey, if it matches these conditions, you're going down this way. If it matches these conditions, you're going down the other way. And then we just set the conditions. So path A, so if I click on this, it says, hey, if the recording duration in minutes is greater than 60, you're going to continue. If it's not greater than 60, it will just stop. It won't go down that way. And then this one says, hey, if it's less than 60, well, that should be less than 61 in case it was in case it was exactly 60. So if it's less than this, then you're going to go down this path. So it'll just update it the way it is. But if it is over 60, we need to add this JavaScript here. So I'll just open this up in full screen. And if you are somebody who needs this with the length of your sales calls, let me know and I can pass this on to you. But what this is doing is it's basically saying, hey, this is the transcript data I'm going to give you, and I want you to break this into four equal chunks. When you do that, then I want you to give it to me in four separate chunks, and then we are going to essentially get that and put that into four separate sections. So screenshot it, copy it exactly, or let me know and I can pass it over to you. And then what we need is we just need to populate these two things inside here. So we write transcript and then we populate the transcript by pressing the plus icon and clicking the transcript. And then we do call minutes written exactly like that. And then we do call minutes populated inside there. And then that gives it all the information that it needs. So then if we click continue, it'll basically say, hey, this is the information that is put in there. You know, we're giving it this and the script. So this is a very long call, this one. So you can see 4 hours that one went on for. And then if we click continue, it would then be spitting it out, and then we would be populating it into four separate steps here where we would have chunk one, chunk two, chunk three, chunk four, just like that. So if you are somebody who needs that, let me know if you need a hand, and I can help you make sure that that part is set up. But otherwise, if all your calls are generally around the 60-minute mark, you won't actually need that at all. So you'll be happy to hear. So let's get back to it. We will go back to our folders now, and I will get the last Zap setup, and then we'll link it all together and we'll give you a little test. So after we have the AI transcript and we have the AI summary, we then have to go set up the Zap for it to grab all that information, run it through some AI under a specific prompt that we give it. And I can give you the prompt as well, or you can screenshot it, whichever you want. And then from there, we will get that prompt and we'll go put it back onto the person's card again. So the way that we're doing that is we're going to go back into our folder here, and we are going to go create a new Zap again. So we will create a new Zap, and then we are going to say, did I spell that right? Okay, I think I did. All good. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're doing this a little bit differently. So we are using something called a webhook. A webhook is essentially where it's a place where we can send data so that it will grab all that information and we can use that. So we're just going to click webhook. We're going to say catch webhook and then continue. And then from here, click continue, and it's going to give us a URL here. If you click test right now, nothing's doing anything. We have to send some information to this URL for anything to happen. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to copy that, and you just put that in your notes or your clipboard or something like that for now, but hold on to that. What we're going to do now is we are going to go back into our Airtable base here, and then you'll see up the top we have automations. So if we click on this, this is the one that we are going setting up. So it essentially says when it matches certain conditions, you're going to write a script that's going to go grab that information and go send it off to the webhook. And this is the conditions that we need. So when something is on the lead management board and this is not empty and this is not empty and this is ticked off, you are then going to go run a script and you're going to go pass all this information here and you're going to go send it to the webhook. So I'll show you how to set this up from scratch. To do this, we start off by clicking the plus icon, refresh the page. Internet, love it. So refresh the page and then we will click the plus icon. We're going to say when a record matches the conditions and then you select the table. So we're doing the lead management board and we set the conditions. So we want to say, so when the call AI summary is not empty and what else is required? The transcript. So when the call transcript is not empty. And then one last thing is because we don't want to just trigger every time. We only want it to be triggered when we want to be trained on the call. Is we basically go, right, that one that was called train me, that checkbox, that has to be ticked. And then once you do that, you'll ask you to go pick a record. If you click on it, it will say whether it's the record is available or not for the test. If it's not available, just go back into your sheet here, and then where we see all the information, just make sure that everything is ticked off. For example, now that is ticked off, and you're like, right, that one is ready. Go back to your automations, and then click choose record. Click on it, and then you're ready to continue. Now, the next part is you're going to say run a script. Now, don't be afraid. I'm going to give you all the information that you'll need on this. So the first thing that we need is we need the actual script to go inside here. And what the script is it's essentially just a load of words and numbers and everything that we put inside here that it tells this to go complete some actions. And that then is going to go send the information off to Zapier, specifically to that URL that we grabbed earlier. So the script that we need for this, I have it here and I'll just paste it in. So this is the script that we need. So it's basically saying, hey, on this table, make sure that it exactly matches the table that you're using. So lead management board and spelling and spacing matters on that. Then it's going to say, hey, you're going to go get the record that triggered this. So the one that Bruce Banner with my name. And then from there, you're going to get all the details of that record. So all that person's details, like their email, their full name, their first name, the call AI summary, you're going to get the transcript. And if there's anything there for the extended transcript where it's like, part 2, 3, 4. And then you're also going to get the stage. So we know if you close the call or didn't close the call. And then from there, you're going to get that information. You're going to go send it off to Zapier. So that URL that you got on Zapier a while ago, this little one here, that's the one that we need. So we're going to copy that and then we're going to paste that in here because this is where the information needs to be sent to us. So we're saying, hey, go send all the information to there. And then this is basically saying, that's it, go finish up, then you're good to go. Now, we need to go map all this. So we need to basically, the way that it's written here on the left side, it needs to be matched up to the stuff on the right side. So I'll show you how to do one and then I'll skip the rest of it so that you won't have to see me typing it in all manually. But the way we do it is the first one is record ID, and then we click the plus icon here, and then it will say Airtable record ID. That's cool. The next one then we'll do it as full name, so full, and the spelling matters on this, so it has to match with the way that it is written in your base full name. And then we'll do one more just so that you can see. So we have first name, and then this has to be the first name. So first name, there we go. Now, we would basically go do that for all of the different ones that are inside there, just making sure that it's matching exactly, because if it doesn't match exactly, then it will just come up with an error to say, hey, I couldn't find this information. Are you sure that this is right? So we have to make sure that that is all matching perfectly with all the different bits that you have. And then once you have all that done, nearly finished now, just the last little piece. Let me just make sure that's all set. Okay. Once that's all done, we then want to click the test button. So what we're looking for here is any errors or anything that would pop up saying, hey, it's not quite matching. And if it is, hopefully there is actually, because I'll get to show you how to deal with one of them. If there isn't, I might make one just so that I can show you how it would look. Okay, so there was no errors. The test ran successfully, but I want to go make an error. So if I change the way that this is written there, full name, and I click this, hopefully it should tell us that we can find their full name now. Test failed. See, no matching field first name found in the Airtable lead management board. So if I go back here to the data part and I look for the person's full name, I'm like, what? I couldn't find their first name. Why? And I'm like, oh wait, it says first space name with a small n. So then if I go back into my automations then and I go back to check, oh, maybe did I have a spelling mistake? I'd be like, oh, wait, yeah, there should be a space inside there. And then if I click test again, we will see that it should run now successfully. So what we want to do now is we'll click finish editing. And if you wanted to turn that on straight away, turn it on. I would recommend turning it on. And then we go back here to this part. Now, if I click test, it should receive all the information that we just sent it. So we have Bruce Banner, we have Aaron Thomas O'Malley, we have the record ID, and we have all the details. That is perfect. So we have all the information that we need. Now, this is where the AI comes in. We're actually creating recommendations. So we're going to grab this stuff and we're going to go feed it to AI. So click the plus icon. We're going to add a step, and it's AI by Zapier that we're going to be using. Now, you can use different stuff. So it's 4.0 Mini that it's using. You can change the one that it's using. You can change it to Google. You could change it to all these other ones. Yeah, you could connect it to like your actual OpenAI account or whatever way you want. But all we want to do is we want to give it a prompt and then feed in that data from earlier. So the prompt for the AI that we are going to use. Let me just go grab that prompt to make sure that we have the right one, and feel free to steal this prompt. Feel free to alter it as well, um, just to make it suit with the way that you want things to work. One thing I would say with the prompts is be very specific about what you want it to do and what you don't want it to do. Like if you are a fan of, let's say, um, sales like Grant Cardone, his style of it, tell it. If you're not a fan, tell it. Tell it exactly how it should be acting, the language it should be using. If you can give examples of that, even better. Because the more information that you give in, the more specificity, is that the word? As I always say it, I don't know. But the more of an exact kind of structure that you give it, the better the responses are going to be for you. So you have to be like really specific with the way that you ask it to do things. And then we have the prompt here. I'm going to copy this and I'm just going to paste it into our one. Okay, so I'll go back into this app now and I will paste in our prompt. Okay, here we go. Paste in. So this is the prompt that we're using. So you are an expert sales call analyst and coach that has the same style of Alex Hormozy. Feel free to put in whoever you want. This is just for examples. And then you would basically say, I will provide you with a full or a partial transcript of the sales call and existing AI summary of that call. If available, we will have both of them available. Your job is to then basically read that, identify all the objections or moments of resistance, show how or if those objections were overcome during those calls. Highlight specific things the salesperson did well, including rapport building, phrasing, tone, structure, all that kind of stuff. Point out any areas where the salesperson could have got better. Point out any areas where like you almost had the sale. Like if you had just changed things slightly, you could put that in there. Provide a consensus about an actionable list of recommendations for you going into your sales calls in the future. So like, hey, in future sales calls, I would do X, Y, and Z. You'd have a better chance of doing that. And then you basically tell it how it's going to structure it. So you're going to say, hey, give me a brief overview of this, objections and resistance points, what went well, areas to improve, recommendations for future calls. Put in anything you like here. Like this is literally how you structure what you want from it. And then from there, you basically say, right, here's the information. So the status of the call was, so this is where we're putting this in. So we are going to do a // And then we are looking for the stage name. So it says not closed. So we know we didn't get the sale. From here, then we go, right, here's the call AI summary. So we will go and put the AI summary part in there. And then we go put the call transcript parts in here. So part one, and then if there's a part two, if there's a part three, and then there's a part four, you would populate that in there as well. And then from there, each one going forward, all that data will dynamically fit into the places. So then what we need to do is just click generate preview. It's just going to do a quick test, and it will tell you the strength of your prompt as well, if it's a really good one or a really bad one. And it will help you improve the prompt as well if you click on the button, and it will help you write it. So we are going to let that work away for a second, and then once that finishes, we're going to show you how to link that back to that original card, and I'll basically show you how it works then when we turn it on live. We'll see exactly how long it takes and the kind of answers that it gives back. It has taken its time. I'm not sure if this is just my internet connection. Okay, so we are going to go link this back to Airtable now. So Airtable, and what we're going to do is, instead of having to search for the person, to be like, oh, go find this person, we know who the person is already, and we actually grabbed their record ID earlier, so that's why we had it in there, so we could just skip this step now. So we are just going to go to update record. We're going to click continue, it's this one, and we're going to configure these steps. So the base is going to be the home base. The table is going to be this. Let me just move this to the side. I can't stand setting it up like that. And then for the record, we are going to grab this from step one, the webhook. So we go here to dynamic step one. We are looking for the record ID. So you see record ID. That's the one. And then what we want to do is we only want to update the part here where it says sales trainer feedback / and then it's going to be the output of this. And then from there, we just click continue, and then we'll skip the test because we don't actually need that part. And then you press publish. So that part is done. Now, all we have to do is just make sure that we have the data in there, and we go test it out to see what happens. So let me just go set up a little bit behind the scenes just to make sure that it will actually work, and then we will go test it out. So the way that we want it to the way that we want it to trigger is anytime that we click it on Airtable, we don't want it to trigger every single time, because it might not be the best idea for it to trigger every single time that we do a call. It might only be like, try to give a good example of this. Sometimes you'll be on a sales call and you won't get the sale, but it's not because you couldn't get the sale. It could be because they weren't a good fit for your program, where you might have not actually kind of even offered them the sale. It could have been a case where they should have never actually been on the call in the first place. And then because of that, it would still be marked as not a close, but we wouldn't actually want feedback on that call because it was nothing to do with our sales performance. So let's go give this a test. I'm going to make sure this is turned on now, and we will get it going. So, right, we are going to turn on this here. So we're going back into our automations here. This is turned on. This is turned on, where we're catching the webhook and then we're sending the information. And we're going to go back here to data. So if I scroll over here, I'm just going to tick this off to say that I don't want feedback. And I'm going to delete this feedback that just gave me about the call. I'm going to pretend like we didn't have it. And then from here, the AI summary will come in automatically. This will come in automatically from your calls. And we're like, hey, that call that we had there with Bruce Banner, I think, maybe I should have done something different. I don't know what it was. I'd like to get a little bit of feedback on it. All we do is we click that. Once we click that, what's happening in the automations is it's saying, hey, this just matched that condition of where that wasn't empty, and this is ticked off. So if we check automation history, if I check the time and date right now, at 15:27, it just ran. So that is going into Zapier. Zapier, then if I click Zap runs and refresh the page, we should hopefully see that it just triggered whenever it catches up. By the time it catches up, it might actually be it might actually be done. We'll go check. So from here, that will be sending it, and then it'll end up here in a second. Let me just check Zapier one more time. I just want to see that the webhook was actually received and make sure that we have the right one inside there. Oh, okay. So yeah, this actually got finished before Zapier even realized to report it. So this was the AI call summary. This was the AI transcription. Both of them automatically went in. And then from there, you ticked one button to say, hey, I want to get trained on this. And then they spit you back the feedback files. Now, this is obviously based off just a call I was having with a client, but we can see you could be like, all right, this is, what was going on. This was the brief overview of the call. This was the objections. This is the way that you handle it. And yeah, it will give you a full rundown of exactly what happened on the call, the objections that you had, all those kinds of things. And yeah, there you go. It's all set up. So all you have to do is set up those three automations. If I go to Zapier now, I'll just show you those three that you needed to set up. And with that, once you have them set up, they're all good to go. You can leave them running 24/7. You never need to do anything about it. Even if you don't click the sales trainer feedback, every sales call that you do from now on, you will have the transcript of the sales call and you'll have the AI summary of the sales call automatically attached to your lead tracking profile. That is, it's all set up and you're good to go. So I hope this helped. I'm sure you might have some questions, and if you do, please pop them over to me. If you need any help in terms of if you need like the script that was used in there, if you're not just screenshotting it and taking it from there, or if you need any extra assistance on that, or if you have any questions, just feel free to pop it over to me. Happy to help, and yeah, hopefully use this to go close more sales.